Welcome back, Car Craze fam. Today, we're diving into one of the most anticipated muscle car revivals of the decade, the 2025 Pontiac GTO. After years of speculation and rumors, Pontiac, under the stewardship of General Motors, has finally brought back the legendary GTO, and let me tell you, it's making waves in the automotive world. So, buckle up as we take a deep dive into everything you need to know about the 2025 Pontiac GTO, from its history to its design, engine specs, performance, and more. Before we get into the specifics of the 2025 GTO, let's talk about why this car is so significant. For those of you who may not be as familiar with the name, the Pontiac GTO has a long, storied history. First introduced in 1964, the GTO is widely regarded as one of the founding fathers of the muscle car era. It was fast, loud, and affordable, a car built for those who wanted the thrill of performance without breaking the bank. Over the years, the GTO evolved, with models in the late A60s and early A70s cementing its legacy in car culture. However, like many muscle cars of its time, it fell victim to tightening emissions regulations and the oil crisis of the mid-1970s, and by 1974, the GTO was no more. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and Pontiac made an attempt to revive the name with the Holden-based GTO. While it had solid performance, it didn't quite capture the hearts of enthusiasts like the original. And after Pontiac as a brand was discontinued in 2010, it seemed like the GTO would forever be a part of history. But here we are in 2025, and the GTO is back, reborn with modern technology and classic muscle car appeal. Now, let's get into what makes this 2025 Pontiac GTO such a big deal. First off, let's talk about the design. The 2025 GTO takes a bold approach by blending retro styling cues with modern aesthetics. This isn't a simple rehash of the past, it's a thoughtful homage to the classic GTO while being futuristic and relevant to today's car market. The front fascia features a prominent split grille that harkens back to the aggressive nose of the A66 and A67 GTOs, but with sharper, more angular lines to give it a contemporary feel. LED headlights are integrated seamlessly into the design, with a slim, sharp profile that looks menacing even when the car is sitting still. From the side, the GTO's muscular proportions are immediately noticeable. It's got a long hood, short rear deck, and those wide, flared fenders that scream performance. The designers paid a lot of attention to aerodynamics without sacrificing the classic muscle car stance. There are functional air vents and subtle sculpting along the body lines, giving it a balance between form and function. The rear of the car is equally striking, with LED taillights that mimic the old school horizontal layout, but with a modern twist. A rear diffuser and quad exhaust tips complete the look, giving the GTO the presence it deserves. For those wondering about dimensions, the new GTO is slightly larger than the outgoing Camaro but sits lower to the ground, giving it a planted, aggressive stance. It's clear that Pontiac or GM really wanted to ensure that the GTO looked the part of muscle car, but with the level of refinement that matches today's sports cars. Now let's move under the hood, because this is where the real magic happens. The 2025 GTO is being offered with two engine options at launch. For those purists who want the rumbling sound of a V8, you're in luck. The standard GTO comes equipped with a 6.2-liter supercharged V8, borrowed from the Corvette Z06. But tweaked specifically for the GTO. This beast pumps out 670 horsepower and 650 pounds-to-feet of torque. And yes, it's paired with a 6-speed manual transmission for those who want that pure, analog driving experience. For the automatic fans, there's also an optional 10-speed automatic available. But that's not all. In keeping with the trends of electrification, There's also a hybrid option. The GTO Hybrid comes with a twin-turbocharged 3.6-litre V6 paired with a dual electric motor setup. Together, they produce a combined 550 horsepower and over 600 pounds-to-feet of torque. While it may not have the raw, visceral sound of the V8, the hybrid GTO is no slouch. In fact, thanks to the instant torque from the electric motors, it actually accelerates faster than the V8, with 0-60 times in the low 3-second range. Both versions come with rear-wheel drive as standard, but the hybrid variant offers an optional all-wheel drive system, which helps with traction and makes it a more viable option for those in colder climates or who just want that added grip. Let's talk performance for a second. The 2025 Pontiac GTO is not just about straight-line speed, though it's certainly got plenty of that. GM has focused on making this car handle as well as it accelerates. The chassis has been extensively reworked, featuring a double wishbone front suspension and multi-link rear suspension setup, giving the GTO excellent handling characteristics. In terms of weight distribution, the car has been designed to be nearly 50-50, front to rear, ensuring that it feels balanced when pushed hard through corners. There's also a magnetic ride control system that adjusts the damping in real time based on driving conditions, so whether you're on the track, a winding mountain road, or just cruising on the highway, the GTO feels sharp and responsive. Braking is handled by massive Brembo brakes, with 6 piston calipers up front and 4 piston calipers in the rear, ensuring that this car can stop just as impressively as it can go. Inside the GTO, the cabin is a perfect blend of retro-inspired touches and modern technology. You'll immediately notice the driver-focused cockpit, with a flat-bottom steering wheel, analog gauges, and a digital display in the center that can be customized to show everything from performance metrics to navigation. There's a mix of high-quality materials like Alcantara, leather, and brushed aluminium, making the interior feel premium but still sporty. Pontiac has also included modern conveniences like a 12-inch infotainment touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a premium Bose sound system, and even a heads-up display. However, what really stands out is the attention to detail in the design. The seats, for example, are heavily bolstered to keep you in place during spirited driving, but they're also comfortable enough for long road trips. There's also an optional carbon fiber trim package for those who want to add a bit more sportiness to the interior. Now, let's touch on the driving experience, because this is what the GTO is all about. The V8 model delivers that classic muscle car feel, with an exhaust note that roars to life as soon as you start it up. The low-end torque is addictive, and it feels like there's an endless surge of power every time you step on the gas. Shifting through the gears on the manual transmission is incredibly satisfying, with a short, precise throw that makes you feel connected to the car. On the hybrid model, things are a bit different. While it doesn't have the same auditory drama as the V8, the hybrid powertrain is incredibly smooth and efficient. The acceleration is almost instantaneous, thanks to the electric motors, and it feels more composed, especially when paired with the all-wheel drive system. It's a different kind of thrill, but one that shows just how far performance cars have come in blending power with efficiency. Finally, let's talk pricing and availability. The 2025 Pontiac GTO is expected to start around $60,000 for the base V8 model, which is surprisingly competitive given the performance and heritage of this car. The hybrid version will set you back a little more, starting around $70,000. Especially if you opt for the all-wheel drive version and some of the premium packages. GM is aiming to make the GTO not just a halo car for the Pontiac brand but also a legitimate competitor to the likes of the Dodge Challenger, Ford Mustang, and even some European sports cars. While production numbers haven't been confirmed yet, GM has hinted that they plan to keep the GTO relatively limited to maintain exclusivity. So, if you're thinking of getting your hands on one, you might want to get on that waiting list sooner rather than later. To wrap it up, The 2025 Pontiac GTO is everything we hoped it would be and more. It's a car that pays homage to its muscle car roots while embracing modern technology and design. Whether you're a die-hard V8 fan or someone looking for the next evolution in performance with the hybrid option, there's a GTO for you. Let me know in the comments what you think of the new GTO. Would you go for the raw power of the V8? Or are you more intrigued by the hybrid setup? Also, what other muscle car icons would you like to see make a comeback? As always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more car content, and I'll see you in the next video.